Good afternoon. This is Charlie Gaylor, and I'm here today to read to you about the Truant Tricycle. It is a book that was published in 1948, and the author of the book was Francis Marion. And I look forward to reading this to you, and I hope you enjoyed as much as I did as a little child myself. The little red tricycle leaned against the lamppost. His feelings were hurt, very hurt indeed. Until today, Bobby had always boasted that Ting-a-ling was the best tricycle in town, ringing the bell on the handlebars, ting-a-ling, ting-a-ling, as he rode along. Now everything had changed. The morning started out as usual, with no warning of what was to come. Ting-a-ling was happy as Bobby's mother took them across the busy street to the park which crowned Nob Hill. While she sat on the bench enjoying the sun, Ting-a-ling had ridden Bobby up and down the paths until his tires ached. But Ting-a-ling didn't care. Just so long as Bobby was having a good time, Ting-a-ling didn't mind at all. Then Bobby saw the bicycle. It was a big, new bicycle, sparkling with fresh paint. Bobby didn't hesitate a moment. He rode up to his mother as fast as he could go and slid off the seat. "Look," he cried, "I want a real bicycle, just like that." "But bicycles are for big boys," said his mother. "You have the nicest tricycle in town. Now go for a ride on Ting-a-ling." I won't, stormed Bobby. "I want a real bicycle. I won't ride Ting-a-ling. I don't like tricycles." Ting-a-ling didn't want to believe what his handlebars were hearing. Bobby's mother rushed them back across the street, and in her hurry to get Bobby into the apartment for a good scolding, she left the little tricycle all alone, leaning against the lamppost. This was the first time Ting-a-ling had been out by himself. On happier days, he had wondered what was going on in the busy city below. Now he began to listen to the noises drifting up to him. Clang, 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 warned the cable car as it climbed the steep hill. Honk, 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 blared the taxicabs whizzing up and down to the great hotel on the corner. Toot, 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 whistled the tugboats on the blue bay far below. Ting-a-ling pricked up his handlebars. San Francisco sounded exciting. "If I could get started by myself," he sighed wistfully, "I'd run away. Bobby doesn't like tricycles anymore, so I may as well see the sights." Just then the west wind swooped around the corner. "Whoosh," said the west wind, "I'll give you a push." Quite before he knew what was happening, Ting-a-ling's 3 wheels began to turn. Off the curb he bumped, into the busy street, headed straight for the top of the steep, steep hill. The little tricycle was dizzy with excitement as he plunged down the hill. This was real sport. Clang, 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 clang! The great noise almost on top of him scared Ting-a-ling half out of his wits. He knew the cable car was right behind him, but he couldn't turn around, and he couldn't stop, and he didn't know how to get out of the way. "Get off my track," bellowed the cable car. "Get off my track." "Oh," moaned Ting-a-ling, "whatever can I do?" Just as he had given up hope, the west wind pushed him sideways off the track. The cable car whisked by in a rush. "Look out!" A taxicab jammed on its brakes. "Get back on the sidewalk where you belong." "Oh my," cried the little tricycle, "I'll surely get hit." Cars were coming from every direction. Ting-a-ling didn't know which way to turn. Just ahead, another hill plunged down, down, down. Lickety-split. Down the second hill he flew, gaining speed with every turn of his wheels. He was going far too fast to see any sights. "Woo, woo, woo," wailed a siren. "That fire engine can't possibly miss me," shivered Ting-a-ling. "This is the end." Every nut and bolt in his whole frame groaned as he tried to swing closer to the curb. The air whistled through the spokes of his wheels. They raced faster and faster. Brakes shrieking, the giant fire engine swerved to avoid him. "Stop that tricycle," yelled the fireman. "It's tying up traffic." The policeman on the corner tried to grab the handlebars, but Ting-a-ling whizzed by much too fast. Just across the street loomed a big lamppost. "Maybe that will stop me," Ting-a-ling was desperate. Making one final effort, he turned his wheels in the direction of the curb. Bing, bang, kerplunk! Ting-a-ling saw shooting stars as he crashed into the lamppost. Then everything went black. Far off in the distance, the little tricycle thought he heard voices. They seemed to come closer. He felt a warm, protective grip on his handlebars. "I got here first, Officer Jones," insisted the small boy who held him. "The tricycle's bell says Ting-a-ling. That sounds like a Chinese name, so it's mine." "Don't get excited, Jimmy G," said the policeman. "If no one claims the tricycle, you may keep it. Take it home now. It's caused me enough trouble for one day." Ting-a-ling felt himself being lifted gently. His front wheel hurt very much. "You'll never be able to fix that tricycle," jibed one of the boys. "The front wheel's bent." Jimmy G didn't bother to answer. He carried Ting-a-ling up a flight of stairs and opened the blue door at the top. Jimmy's little sisters and brothers welcomed Ting-a-ling with sparkling eyes. "What a wonderful red tricycle," they beamed, crowding around to admire the treasure their older brother had brought home. "What beautiful yellow wheels." When Jimmy rang the bell on the handlebars, the children laughed with delight. "Ting-a-ling," they chorused, "Ting-a-ling." "I can straighten the front wheels," said Jimmy G. The tricycle ran all the way down Knob Hill and crashed into a lamppost. "When Ting-a-ling's fixed, you may each have a ride." While Jimmy went for tools, Ting-a-ling looked around the room. It was different from any he had ever seen. Straw matting covered the floor, and gold dragons looked down from panels in the wall. Only the flower pots on the windowsills were familiar. "It seems very strange," Ting-a-ling thought to himself, "but I like it here. These Chinese children have fun playing with me, so I'd like to stay." Jimmy G spent all afternoon straightening the front wheel. He worked so gently that it didn't hurt much at all. By the time the first stars were out, Ting-a-ling was able to reward each of the children with a ride around the room. When bedtime came at last, all the children wished him good night. It was only then that Ting-a-ling realized how tired he felt. He thought of how he had just escaped the cable car, the taxi cab, and the big fire engine. Running away hadn't been any fun at all. Would Bobby want him back, wondered Ting-a-ling? Although he missed Bobby, he would miss Jimmy G, and his little sisters and brothers too. The night seemed very long. When Jimmy's father opened the morning paper to the Lost and Found page, Ting-a-ling held his breath. "I'm sorry, Jimmy," said his father. "Ting-a-ling really belongs to a boy named Bobby who lives on Knob Hill. I must telephone to say we have the tricycle." "But Bobby didn't take good care of Ting-a-ling," Jimmy's eyes filling with tears. "See how nicely I fixed the bent wheel?" "We can't keep what doesn't belong to us," said Father G. Jimmy held Ting-a-ling tightly while his father telephoned. "Take the tricycle up to the top of Knob Hill," said Father G. "Bobby and his mother will be waiting at the park entrance." They went up the first hill slowly. Ting-a-ling had time to see the pagoda roofs of Chinatown gleaming in the sun. The second hill was even steeper. From the safety of the sidewalk, he watched the cable cars clang, clang their way up the slope. Jimmy G was careful when they crossed the streets. They didn't have to jump out of the way of a single taxi cab. As they climbed, the buildings grew taller and taller. "I'll miss you, Ting-a-ling," Jimmy stroked the handlebars. "If Bobby doesn't take good care of you, just come back to me." By now they had reached the great hotel on the top of Knob Hill. Ting-a-ling saw Bobby waiting at the park entrance. "Look, Mother," cried Bobby, jumping up and down in excitement. "Here they come. It's really Ting-a-ling. Hooray!" Bobby's mother smiled at Jimmy G. "Thank you for returning the tricycle," she said. "Here is a reward for all your trouble." She held out an envelope. "I don't want a reward," Jimmy shook his head. "My father made me return the tricycle. I wanted to keep Ting-a-ling." "You're a truthful boy, Jimmy G," she said, pressing the envelope into his hand. "I'll make you a promise. When Bobby is just a little bit older, you may have Ting-a-ling for your very own." Jimmy looked up shyly as though he couldn't quite believe what he heard. Then a big smile brightened his face. "Thank you," he beamed. "My little sister and brothers love Ting-a-ling too. We'll all be glad when he comes back to us." "Let's go in the park now," suggested Bobby's mother. "You two boys can take turns riding Ting-a-ling." "You ride first, Jimmy," said Bobby. Tingaling's the best tricycle in town. Tingaling was happy once more. His yellow wheels whizzed as the boys took turns riding up and down the paths. No longer did he have to wonder what would happen to him when Bobby grew big enough to own a bicycle. Now Tingaling knew exactly where to go. At Jimmy G's home in Chinatown, there were lots and lots of children who would love and having fun riding a willing little tricycle. Once again, this was the story of the truant tricycle by Francis Marion, and it was published in 1948. And it's my pleasure to have read this to you, and I hope you enjoyed it.